on Scripture. Today is May 30th, 2024, and for those of you who are paying attention to what's going on in our country, some of you are celebrating, and some of you feel that it's the end of our nation. Both are premature because it's not the end of our nation, because nothing is ever over until God says it's over, and God has not said it's over yet. Let me remind you of different things that have taken place throughout human history where it looked like it was over, but it wasn't over because God hadn't spoken yet. Let's go back to the time of Moses, where Moses brings the children of Israel out of slavery to Egypt. They end up at the Red Sea. They can't go any further, and Pharaoh's army is in back of them, and they can't go ahead, and they can't retreat because Pharaoh's army is going to wipe them out. Why wasn't it over? Because God had his final say. And what God did is he parted the Red Sea, and the Israelites walked across on dry land, and then God closed the Red Sea on the Egyptians, and that enemy was gone forever. So it's not over till God says it's over. Let's go forward in time to the time in Persia, where Mordecai and Esther were alive. And again, an edict was passed, and it was open season on the Jews. A law had been passed that every person in Persia could kill their Jewish neighbors. Well, it wasn't over because God said it wasn't over. And what happened is God reversed it, and the Jews not only were saved, but they were raised to a place of prominence in Persia, and everything was turned around. Let's go to something that hasn't happened yet in the book of Revelation, where we see that during this time the Antichrist is ruling. He's an evil, evil man. And what happens is there's two men called the two witnesses who are just telling everybody about the glory of Jesus Christ. The Antichrist kills these two men, and as these men lay dead in the streets of Jerusalem, all the bad guys are celebrating. They're actually sending presents to one another. Sound familiar? But it wasn't over yet because God didn't say it was over. Finally, after 3 days, God speaks, and he says to the two witnesses, "Come up here." And both of them were resurrected, and they ascended into heaven. Again, not over till God says it's over. What am I saying? Let's not look at what we see in the natural, but let's realize that God is supernatural, and he can always change events. So our nation is not over. Actually, things are just beginning because God has declared that there's going to be a great move of God in our nation, in fact, in the world, and it's definitely not over. So these are just things to think about. Remember, with Jesus, there's always hope. There's always love. God bless you. I'll see you soon.